Victoria Maclean and welcome to my channel. Now today is all about the DIY Knockturn Alley. Yes, I am going to show you how exactly I managed to get this looking like this. Well, most of this, a lot of people have been asking me, what wallpaper have I used? It's not wallpaper. This has all been painted by hand, but it is so easy to do. So as long as you've got the patience and you don't mind turning the part of your house or a whole room or whatever into Knockturn Alley, then keep on watching. If you would like me to bring Hogwarts to you, then why not subscribe to my channel? Let's get started. So to create the effect that I have used behind me, I have used, to start with, there's many different layers. I've used a black acrylic paint, doesn't matter which one as long as it's acrylic. This is just because if you make mistakes, acrylic is the best thing to use, and if you get it all over your clothes and your hands, it's easily washed off. I've used an acrylic brown, although there's hardly anything left in there, and I've used an off-white, again, acrylic paint. Now these are available in Tesco's, Hobbycraft, you can get them online, B&M, anywhere. It is so easy to get hold of acrylic paints, but you'll need quite a lot of it, so make sure you've got plenty of paint. Just for the record though, if this camera does go blurred, I apologise. I'm using my Canon G7X and I'm still working out the kinks with it. I normally use my phone, but I'm using that for this today. It picks up far better. When I did do my Knockturn Alley, I left out all of that because I was in a rush. So I am now going over all of that, but I'm going to remove those posters first just in case I get anything on them. I'm also going to show you how I did these posters as well, so stay tuned for that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to mix them into a bowl, a fair amount of it to be fair, because it doesn't last too long, so you need to give yourself plenty. So I've added 50% black, about 20% white, and because I'm running out of brown, probably about 5% of brown. This just makes it look less dark, but this is all I've got. I'm literally going to mix it together with a brush. And it goes like a very dark grey brown. Now the good thing about a wall like this, it is easy for you not to mix the exact same colour every time. So if you put too much brown in or too much cream or too much black, it's not going to affect it too much, because a little sporadic or imperfect paint makes it look a bit more realistic. So that is the colour I have so far. So I'm going to get what I'm going to use and I'm going to show you now. Now I literally have a piece of a sponge, one of those holy sponges, and this is basically all I use. I do use a brush sometimes at the end, depending on what it looks like and if I need to blend colour in, but all I'm using is this sponge. You need to wet your sponge though, so it's far more easy to play with, and all I do is dip the paint in and start. You see how the holes from the sponge are creating a pitted effect. And this is obviously, some of you guys obviously thought this was real, which is really nice. Shows I'm doing an okay job. But it does, I made a few mistakes here before, so I'm covering them up. It makes it look uneven, which is what I love about this technique. Now I do this technique quite a lot. I'm very much, I've just actually updated my husband's Star Wars toys because he wanted them to look more authentic. So I have done this sort of effect on them. But the idea then is just to make it look like it's wall, obviously. I mean, ideally I would put kind of like brick marks in there to give it a nice effect for the brick. But I haven't done that this time purely because I don't have much time. So this is a rushed effect, which actually worked out better than I thought. Now you need to go all over your wall as best as you can. Obviously, make sure you've got permission to do this. I'm lucky I have an entire room that we are decorating for Harry Potter. I've given half the front room, bearing in mind my front room is the length of my house. I have given my husband the main part of the front room to him for him to display all Star Wars stuff. So that is now Star Wars. The other end where my office is, that is now, that's still Harry Potter, but I don't know how long that's going to last for. Now obviously, as you can see, I am literally just dabbing the wall with the sponge to create the pitted effect. It is a lot of fun to do. It doesn't have to be this colour, you can have any colour you like. I've got a section over the other side that I'm going to be doing as Dumbledore's office, or a tiny section and that's going to be painted, and I'm tempted to use like a brownie red for that. Now, I have always been, not obsessed as such, always kind of loved anything to do with the dark arts and vampires and so on. Ever since I was a kid, it's been weird. Maybe it's because of the house I grew up in, I don't know, but it was a scary house. But I've always loved it. I've loved anything to do with that. I've loved like the look of evil but not that I am, but I've loved the look of it. It's kind of, I was a bit gothic-y when I was a kid. I liked, like, you know, black eyeliner and all that stuff, and I really laid it on thick. So I think this is kind of, for me, this is, I just love it. I love anything like this. So to actually be able to do this in my house, not like massively, and I'm not scaring my kids because they think it's brilliant. They love it. They keep showing their friends whenever they come over. So that's really nice. But there's nothing scary in here. It's all fun. To get the red handprints, it's much easier. I am using red and brown food colouring. Now, it's a bit messy, but I'm sorry, there's no point doing stuff like this unless you're going to get messy. So what you do is you're pouring onto your hand. There's hardly any of this red left. That's why I've brought the brown in. So I've got red there. I got a little bit of brown. And then all you are doing, try not to get on your carpet because it'll be impossible to get off, is red handprints. And I am literally putting it across my wall. That is literally all I do. Now, obviously, it is going to make a mess, but it's a fun mess. Love it. Oh, I haven't done Lucius's poster, so I'm going to do some of that now. I need to get some more red food colouring. Don't think there's anything left in here. Oh, a little bit. Cool. There we are. But yeah, when it comes to stuff like this, there's just no point not getting messy. I don't want to put it over the Borgin and Burkes because I'll probably be moving that. Now, I don't think there is any like red, dirty, bloody handprints in Knockturn Alley. But I just think it makes it more sinister, and it is literally this section of my home, my Harry Potter room, where there is stuff like this. So now that I've finished by painting the wall with my sponge, it is almost dry. It doesn't take long to dry because it is acrylic paint. I've used red food colouring for the handprints. So the reason why I have used red food colouring is because paint is just too thick. It would look too obvious. And the lovely thing about red food colouring is it is quite transparent and you need quite a lot of it to create that colour. So that's why I like it, because it's almost faded. I think you could use fake blood, Halloween fake blood, but I don't know how well it would dry. This will stay in the wall, but it's very thin, so it's easier to kind of, you know, get rid of. So now I'm going to show you how I've created the posters. This is obviously one I have done before, the Quibbler, Undesirable #1, and this is the poster that I am going to transform, which is the New York Ghost. So first of all, obviously, this is, I think this is one from Geek Gear that came in a frame, and all I've done is take it out of the frame. And this is how it's going to look once it's finished, we hope. Now, first of all, you need to remove this part of the border. So you need to rip it as uneven as you like, creating almost like a rough mess. It doesn't matter how messy you get, as long as you remove as much of the straight borders as possible. Even if you rip some of the newspaper, it doesn't matter.
Now, I highly recommend putting a plastic or newspaper down on your surface, otherwise you will recreate stains and you might get told off. Now we're going to cover this using a sponge, some water, and wood stainer available from places like Wilkinson's. This was only £3.50. Using your sponge, you need to wet it first and wring it out as much as you can. So this is where your bicep power comes in. Be very careful not to spill the wood stainer because it does stain very much. Using your sponge, dab a little bit of the wood stainer on, removing some of the excess back into the bottle, and dab all over your poster, concentrating on the edges mostly. This is where it'll create the ripped look, the old ripped look. Now, what we have found is if you haven't got things like wood stainer, you can use, which obviously will create a different colour, you can use things like coffee, ground coffee, the coffee granules, or tea bags. Now with the coffee granules, I did find that 3 spoons of coffee in a little bit of boiling water, diluted down with cold water obviously, was not dark enough for me, but when the paper is dry you can always go back over it until you get the desired colour effect. Wood stainer does take a while to dry, so give it a couple of hours. Once you have finished your poster, leave it to dry.
And here you have it, my Knockturn Alley. So thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have liked this little DIY tour of how to get your room looking like Knockturn Alley. Those techniques can be used for anything. So just use your imagination, let it run absolutely wild. I would love to hear from you if you've done something similar. So anyway, if you would like me to bring Hogwarts to you, then why not subscribe to my channel? If you liked this video, make sure you hit the like button and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more of my videos. Until next time, take care. I love you all and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you subscribe to my channel, invite your friends, and also like this video and let me know down below in the comment section, what did you think of this video? What would you like me to cover? Until then, thank you so much. Take care. I love you all and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.